Yeah, it's so interesting how there's so many female pedos nowadays. Most of them happen to be teachers because they have access to those kids, right? It's kind of a little bit kind of a shocker because I mean, not the fact that females can be pedos is a shocker. The shocking part was for me it was the sheer numbers. There's just too many. When you open this, law and crime channels or just any kind of like crime channels on YouTube, it I mean, you see that it's almost every other day now that another female pedo teacher gets caught, sleeping with some like 10 to like 16, 17-year old male students. Sometimes it's female students, but I mean, still, And I can't really say that it came down as a revelation that females can be like pedos. It's just the numbers, really. I mean, we would think it would be like it would be some females that are like on the fringes, that are like almost like outsiders, like castaways somehow, or like really, really ugly. But when you actually look at those chicks, I've kind of looked through most of them. When you look at the profile pictures, like they all look kind of good, actually. I mean, they all are really pretty. It's not all, but the absolute majority for sure. The absolute majority are really pretty girls. I mean, pretty females, and that kind of sets a question of like, why would they go for it? Like because a lot of times when you see like those videos, like male pedophiles getting caught, it's actually quite rare that the caught guy is a handsome man. I mean, there are occasionally, but most of the time when you look around, it's like really like it's either like guys on the older side of the age brackets, or it's just outright obese. Sometimes it's morbidly obese, or like guys that are like disabled, or just some outright retards. Most of these guys, well, I don't know if it's most, but a lot of them are not married or like divorced. But when you look at the female teachers, like maybe not the majority, but well, I think it's for the last like few months. I think from what I have been noticing, it's like the majority of them are married. They have kids too. And they have and they all like really pretty women actually. Why would they go for these young boys? It's just, I mean, again, we can explain why this kind of like ugly looking guys, why they would go for like uh for these like little girls. It's because they feel insecure. They're fucking ugly. The dating market is just too bad for men, right? Especially for men. Maybe some women would probably, they would probably also, complain about it. Just say that there's, like douchebags and all that. That, but honestly, most of the time, guys get swiped left, right? I mean, most men don't really get like action, right, on the dating market. So it's like they have some freaking explanation, and not to justify that, but at least you see the freaking logic, right? You can explain that shit. Hunger, that kind of like a hunger drives them fucking insane, and a lot of them just fucking become like pedos, and they wanna, and they also, also like being childish and like immature might also like add something to that. Like they themselves feel like kids, so they go for like underage girls. But then you see like these women, a lot of them are married. It seems like everything is going great for them, and they are fucking, they are good looking. They can get out, go at any freaking like the nearest bar. They will get action in like in the next fucking, I don't know, like 15 minutes probably, someone is going to approach them, okay? And why would they go for these boys then? Yeah, that's a really interesting question, actually, and yeah, and also I can recall when I was a kid, I was like 10 years old, I think, at my fourth grade, and I would be just hanging with my boys in the hood, and then that one chick would approach and just sit near us and start like talking to us. We didn't know who that chick was, but I mean, we wouldn't mind because, well, she was kind of pretty actually. I don't remember how old she was, but she looked like 16, 17, I guess. And she would just start talking to us, like, and then when all the boys like would leave somehow, and there were like a couple moments when I was like, it was just me left with her, and she would just freaking sit like closer and she would just start, like flirting, but basically just complimenting me like too much. And like the first couple compliments, they were like okay. I mean, they probably wouldn't be okay if she was like an ugly, fat, like ogre, but she was really pretty. But she would start like complimenting me, right? And like the first couple times, I was just okay. I would just write it off to like okay, maybe she's just being like she has like she might maybe she has like those sisterly sort of feelings. I don't know. But then she would just like fucking keep going and fucking going, like, and then I would like start immediately like thinking like, you know what, hey, like, like there's really nothing common between us, like, like the only thing that's like common between like the two of us is just the number 10, me being like a 10-year-old boy and her being like a 10th grader, so it's like I'm sitting there, I can't really like say anything because she's like an older girl and stuff. I'll be just sitting there, like fucking frozen, like oh, it's like okay, yeah, it's like yeah, and she would say stuff like you like, do you even realize you're like the most like handsome boy in this neighborhood? Like I have never seen like a boy that's like as good looking as you. It's like, oh really? It's like bro, like, and I was like, just yeah, I was 10 years old. I mean at that time at 10, like sex was clearly not what I would be thinking about, okay? uh, and yeah, I can recall that like clearly. And I don't even know what that chick now is. I know her name, but I mean, not that this shit somehow traumatized me. No, not at all. I mean, because she didn't do anything, but I saw the fucking interest, and she was as pretty, maybe even prettier than most of those chicks that I saw on the law on crime channel. And that's kind of a weird correlation. Like, what's up with this really good-looking, like beautiful, pretty chicks and little boys? It's really really interesting, actually. Why would they go for? Maybe it's this urge for power, like they want to freaking dominate, or maybe they become perverted somehow because they just good looking. Because they're good looking, they've tried it all. Like they've tried like all the different kinds of men, because it's easy, right? When you're a pretty woman, it's kind of easier for you, right, to date, right? Because you just go to any freaking bar, and in the next like 10, 15 minutes someone's approaching you already. Like you can be like like getting trash out basically, right? I mean, on your backyard, if you are a pretty woman, someone even then you have a chance of someone approaching you, because it's that fucking easy. So your sexual dating life and experience is just it's just too much of it, right? Up to that point, then I think it's probably they just lose interest to anything. It's just too much sex, and then they lose all basically like all the senses. So they want to sort of uh like lift the experience, like sort of like a little up, you know, go sort of like deeper. They want to like experience something more. Maybe that is the case, you know. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with them. It's just really weird that it's the good-looking ones most of the time. Well, maybe it's just a coincidence. I don't know. Maybe it will turn out later on that the majority of those female pedos are actually kind of ugly. I don't know. It's really weird. But you know, um, on a comedic note here, I don't know. You know, guys, there's actually something positive about it. Just on a comedic note. But we can make fun of it because we're not talking about like male pedos, right? Because you can really like, you know, make a lot of jokes about like male pedos because everyone's getting sensitive, right? There's a good thing about these female pedos. What it shows is that, you know, the fact that there's too many of these female pedos and they all want to go for like really like small boys. It's actually kind of indicates that dick size is not really an issue, you know. I mean, for anyone out there, you know, who's on the shorter side of the spectrum, you have a chance. You have a chance. Maybe this female pedophilia, maybe it kind of indicates like a new trend, you know, like because of too much feminism, women want more power, right? So if they want more power, like they want like smaller guys, you know, like smaller guys, like generally speaking, like kind of like correlates well with like smaller dicks and all that. Maybe there will be like a new trend, you know, like chicks going for shorter dudes with shorter winners, and they will be winners apparently. I, I mean, trying to stay on the bright side here, you know, it's just. I guess maybe that may. I mean, I've heard because you know I've heard like a few days ago. There's some celebrity chicks who are dating guys who are like half a head or like a full head shorter than them, and the news title even said that there's like a new trend for shorter dudes. Maybe they want, you know, this like mommy feelings going. I don't know. Maybe they want that. Maybe it correlates with feminism. You know, like they want us like a vulnerable guy. You know, that they can be like a mommy to. You know, it's kind of like that. Because like if it's like a huge guy, you can't really do anything to that guy. You know, he can easily overpower you. Sort of. You know, you can't even run away, escape that kind of a guy. There's like some risks present, you know. Those big guys, you know, kind of like me, like 6'1", not that big, but still, you know, like yeah. And there you go. I mean, that's really it for the video, guys, and just wanted to share my thoughts about this. It's really weird.